All right, welcome back to Lean Brothers. Today we thought we'd answer some questions. So I'm going to ask the questions because Tyler's the one that probably knows all the answers. So
we'll give it a try. We'll see what I know.
We're going to do our best. I know some of these will warrant their own videos. So if you have additional questions, leave them down below and we'll cover them in videos, or we'll answer them here or in another video answering questions. So most recent comment, we'll just start there, is they want to know detail of the cabinets, specifically the ones that we're sitting and talking by, which that was the beam saw video, which we came in the showroom.
Yeah,
do you want to maybe, we'll make a video showing the detail, but maybe talk about, like, you do Euro cabinets, like maybe talk about that.
Yeah, so we focus on European style. We do some inset face frames and some little face frames on some furniture pieces at times, but we do European style cabinets, which means the doors overlay the box sides, no face frames. Our construction mostly is with Conformats. We try and build, we build to AWI standards, so our Conformats, all of our construction bores, everything like that are set to specific parameters so that we can make sure that they meet those guidelines as we do commercial projects as well. So we'll get a more detailed video showing how we construct a cabinet box and what that is. But everything's pretty much done with Conformats. We do a little bit of doweling, but mostly through Conformats.
The other day we released a video on the trailer, and the trailer that we showed, they had solar panels, and they're just asking what kind of solar panels you use. So did you guys use a kit? Did you buy something? Do you even know?
So I don't know what solar panels they are, but I can try and find out. So we have a guy that does a lot of maintenance on our trailers, and he comes and does our axles once a year. We're on a schedule, so keeps things going. He does a lot of our work like that. So we actually asked him to do it. So he's the one that put the solar panels, the batteries, the inverters, and wired everything up for us. So I can find out what it is.
Okay. And we'll link it down below if we can. I'm going to join two questions together because this is also with the trailer video. A person asked, do you have different people that deliver versus install, maybe on different days? And then in conjunction with that, when delivering the cabinets, do you wrap or protect them in any way? Because it seems like they might shift in transport.
We do have different people delivering than installing. And this could go back and forth, but our installers, we want them to focus on installing. So we have a crew that delivers out. So they deliver out. Sometimes we deliver the day of. A lot of times we try and get them there the day before our cabinet boxes, but we have a couple guys that go out and deliver, and then depending on what install crew we have doing things, then they'll go do the install. What was the other question?
Wrap the cabinets.
Wrap the cabinets. So it depends a little bit. If we put the doors and fronts on the cabinets, then we put a piece of paper on the fronts, and then we shrink wrap them so that there's no damage. The cabinets, surprisingly, really don't shift a lot. The trailers are pretty smooth, but we will wrap them. A lot of what we're doing now is we just manufacture the boxes, and then we take the doors and end panels in a separate cart. The installers have to take the doors off anyways when they install. So we've been going back and forth testing what we like the best, and there's pros and cons to both ways. But right now, we don't put the fronts on. We just put the cabinets right in the trailer, and then we put the fronts at the back of the trailer or on a separate delivery.
Where Tyler's currently doing my kitchen, and it's been separate deliveries.
Yep.
Victor asks, or he says that you have a nice shop.
Thank you.
And he is wondering how many assemblers you have to keep up with the speed of the machines. So,
if we ran the machines full time, we would not have enough assembly people right now. But we vary things a lot. Sometimes we're doing more complicated fixtures, and sometimes we're just doing cabinet boxes. So in assembly right now, I think we have 5 people, and one of them goes out on deliveries some. And then we have a couple in our customs department, and we have a few of them that kind of rotate around just a little bit. But there's 3 always kind of in assembly putting things together. We have 5, and then we have a guy that focuses on drawer boxes as well. So I guess that would be 6 with the drawer boxes. And like I say, if we really wanted to run the CNCs to full capacity, just with cabinet parts, we would need more people probably, because they can go pretty fast. But where we do custom things, a lot of times the routers are, run those things, and sometimes they can keep up, sometimes they can't. But it seems to be a good flow for us right now.
Well, and like speaking of that, we did a video on your assembly line, which is now changed.
Oh yeah, I think there was a question about that. Somebody asked where it was.
Yeah, someone asked where it went, so we'll do an updated video on how the assembly area has changed. You can see it a little bit in the beam saw video, because the beam saw is now kind of where assembly used to be. So we'll do an updated video on that. Pat asked, in relation to the video that we recorded, about my question to you about if you were starting over, what would you do? And I know we've talked about this a little bit just in person off of camera. He says the CNC with load and unload isn't really an entry-level machine for starting out. Now, I can comment a little bit on this one.
Yeah.
Because I run my own business, and entry-level does not necessarily mean the cheapest. Entry-level can mean something that you can operate on your own or with fewer employees for longer amounts of times, more automation. So to me, having one that loads and unloads, like if I were to start a competitive business to Tyler, or a collaboration business with Tyler, I would buy a machine that loads, unloads. Like I'd buy as much automation as possible, because it allows you, you're going to spend a little bit more money on equipment, but you're going to spend a lot less time on employees, on training, on manual things that you have to do. So to me, I would consider it an entry level. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and it really depends on how you define entry level. I mean, none of the home ag equipment is entry level. A Chinese CNC is an entry level machine, but it depends on what you're wanting to do with your business. But we had another buddy that we used to cut cabinet parts for that was getting into it, wanted to cut cabinet parts, and he asked us our advice. Would you get an offload, onload? What would you do? What would you do if you were starting over? And we said, well, look, I would get an offload, onload machine with also a crane like Larry has. We have a crane on Larry's, so we can do custom things. So that way you can have all your standard product. White melamine is our standard, for cabinets. So we would put the white melamine on the onload station, and then all the other custom things that you're running with that machine, instead of having to load those things individually onto the scissor lift for an onload machine, then I would use that hand lift to put them on the machine. So if I was starting over again and I just wanted one CNC, I think for I don't know if it's $20,000, $30,000, probably somewhere in that neighborhood, to extra for the onload, I would 100% do it, because that's less than it costs you for an employee for a year, and it really does help save that. So you can focus and get one really good employee that can then do it all.
Yeah, because for $24,000, that's a $2,000 a month employee.
It's pretty hard to find.
Yeah, definitely hard. Another question, Nick asked, what system are you using to get the box parts sorted per cabinet? And are you doing the labeling on the CNC after banding? Like, how does that process work? So I guess...
Yeah, we should have done a video on that.
We probably can do a more detailed video on it, but maybe quickly talk about, the software.
Okay. Yeah, so we use Cabinet Vision, and Cabinet Vision sorts our parts. So there's a setting in Cabinet Vision, it's called cabinet ordering. And so we set our cabinet ordering to 6. And so basically what it does is it cuts all the parts for those 6 cabinets before it starts the next batch of cabinets. It keeps your yields fine. We don't really have an issue with yields, but we're able to get parts for all of those cabinets really close together. And so we don't end up with piles and piles of parts. Our guys out there, it's pretty frustrating when they have a job that has 50 cabinets and somebody forgot to turn the ordering on. And, you could be have parts for cabinet number 1 on sheet 1 and on sheet 30, let's say. And so it's really hard to get that. So that's what we do. As far as labeling, we label straight off the CNC. So on the outfeed conveyors, you'll see we have computers and labels. And so they print those labels out, put them right on the pieces as they come off the CNC. And that way we have the barcodes for doing the drill and dowel. We have the edge band information, and so everything goes down from there. We chose not to do automation on our labeling in our store. Just felt like I think it's about $125,000 to have an auto label inside of your store. And so we just felt like that wasn't an investment that would pay off quickly, because that's not a bottleneck. That's not ever been a real issue. So we just pull them off, stick the labels on really quick, and then go. So I guess the other software we use, and I think this was another question that I saw in the comments, they asked how we manage our jobs. Am I remembering that right? Mm-hmm. We use Asana, which is an online software, online management software. We've been able to tweak it a lot for our needs. I like it because if we see a need, usually we can figure out a way to make it work. Darren uses Monday.com. We use Asana. I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I wish you could combine the two, because I think there's a couple things in both that if they were combined, that would be
I agree with that.
Excellent. Each of our workstations out there has an assigned board, and so they can see everything they need to do, and it's fairly automated. Once the CNC cuts the painted parts for the paint department and they check it off, that job automatically pops into the paint queue, and the paint queue sees it in their board. So it's pretty nice.
So there's another question about kind of talking about your origins, because based off of external perspective, it looks as though you've made it. You're a big business. You've got expensive equipment. And it seems like people only, like, it's not real content, I guess, is a nice way to put it, or a good way to put it. And so people are curious about the origin. So I think we should save that for another video that, frankly, we'll probably record immediately after turning this one off. But this one, we're already over 10 minutes. But I want to do one more question now, and we'll make more videos that answer questions, and we'll go through some more. But Connor says that, like, he's looked at the StoreTech. It looks like a huge investment, and they fear that if they don't have enough backlog to keep the machines in use, that their ROI would be in the dumps. And so he's wondering, is there value in, like, first steps to one-piece flow, inventory management, like, kind of what is your, because you don't run your machines full tilt. So, like, maybe could we talk a little bit about what you feel the ROI has been, because you haven't had it, it's not even been a year yet, right?
It's been a year.
Oh, it's been a year.
1 year. Exactly.
It's gone faster than I thought. Maybe talk about what that is, and we'll end the video with that last question.
Okay. So equipment, I look at a little differently than some people do. A lot of people and accountants look at equipment as a capital expenditure. You're spending this much on capital. How are we going to get our money back on it? We look at equipment a little differently. We consider equipment labor. And there's arguments there. People say, well, you can't, if you slow down, then you can't, lay off a piece of equipment. You still have to pay for it, which is true. But we look at it as labor, basically. So we looked at the StoreTech and said, okay, what labor are we taking now? Where are our bottlenecks? And how can we fix it? And so we looked and said, okay, if we get this store, what's this going to do for us? Right now, how many people would we have to hire to continue the way we were, to try and manage? There's certainly always ways to be better. There's better ways to manage your inventory. There's better ways to have one piece flow. That's why we should all be making an improvement every single day. And some are big, some are small. Use Paul Akers 2-second lean. It's a great map for helping you grow personally in your business and things like that. So there's always a better way. There's always a better way. There's a better way to label your racking, to make sure that the boards and parts and pieces don't get mixed together and you can't find them. But we were kind of to the point in our business that we said, you know what, we've got to make a change. We've got to make things better. If we continue on the path that we are on now, we're going to need to hire 2 or 3 more people just to be able to do what we're doing. And a couple of our machines, one of them was 7 years old, one of them was 5 years old on our CNCs. And so just looking at the full picture, we're like, you know what, we would rather keep our good key employees, be able to continue to give them raises as they do better and better and get more and more familiar with the automation and able to make it more efficient. And so that's how we looked at it when we went to purchase it. And is it a big investment? Yeah, well, for sure. But the store tech portion of that, you know, our work cell, really was similar in cost to a couple of employees, if you look at it that way, what they would have cost. And so we've been able to keep our really good guys. They love it. They're excited. They have a good time. They do an amazing job every day. And it's easier for them. They're not having to search for wood. They're not getting frustrated, you know, trying to find a piece that happened to get mixed in, or somebody, you know, didn't put something away right that wasn't part of their department. So it's eliminated a lot of frustrations on their part, and you really can't put an ROI on that. But that's kind of my mindset. That's, you know, Cordell, my business partner, and Dave, we kind of have that same mindset is, you know, yep, it was costly. I don't know, the store tech portion was $300,000, give or take. But also if you kind of say, okay, let's say over a 5-year period of time, and that's going to be, you know, that investment's going to be working way further than that we expect. But
well, plus the store tech sorts material when no one's there.
Yeah.
Like you needed a piece today, and
yeah,
it went and found it for you. And
yeah, we went to lunch, and it was waiting for me when I got back. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it. So anyway, we look at things a little bit differently, right or wrong. That's kind of how we look at it.
Yeah, the one other comment that I can remember, your first beam saw that you bought, you bought it because you were outsourcing some parts to a guy, and you looked at like the ROI there, and just bringing that one task in-house paid the beam saw.
Yeah.
So that's another way to look at it, is like, are there things that you're paying someone else to do, or that you're bringing in that you could do yourself? That's another way to look at the ROI benefit of, like, okay, we're paying someone else to do this one thing, but if we bring in a certain piece of equipment, it'll not only be paid for because of that thing, but then we can also do other things. Yeah. So that's something to consider.
Because the beam saw was drawer stock. We were buying our drawer stock out. We realized we could cut it ourselves and use that because it had notching in it. And so we decided, when we crunched all the numbers, we're like, look, this will pay for itself. And, you know, from an accounting standpoint, that is not the way they look at things. But what I found, we got that in, and the drawer stock did pay for, you know, what the saw was costing us. But then we were able to use it for so much more. And so we definitely got our investment back very quickly on that piece of equipment. So anyway, again, right or wrong, that's how we look at it. And we've been nothing but pleased. We're really happy that we did it.
And it appears to be successful. So appears to work.
Yeah, so far so good.
Take it with a grain of salt. But thanks for watching. Again, if you have more questions, we'll be answering them down in the comments. Well, we probably won't answer them in the comments, but we'll make videos like this.
Absolutely. This is the lean way to answer questions. It takes a long time to type those answers out.
And I don't know them, so I can't answer most of them.
So anyway, we'll do more. Thanks. Guys.